apparently Anthony Fantano, back in his like real edgy days, said the N word with a hard R or something, which is, you know, incredibly fucked up. He was quoting as a quote. I mean, still not the. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's appropriate. It's not. But let's watch the video. This gets brought up every few years. I had never heard of that.
Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and in case you haven't noticed, I'm getting torn apart on Twitter, which is nothing new for me personally, but the discourse seems to have reached a fever pitch that's making a lot of people concerned and angry and even thinking I'm covertly a racist, bigoted person. Now, these are the same sorts of allegations that I have fought against and won before, and I'm happy to do it again because I have nothing to hide and I know they're not true. I don't want to waste anyone's time, so let's just get straight into it. With Exhibit A, this clip right here, which has just been going absolutely viral, and here's my explanation for it. Early on in my YouTube career, I had some pretty lax views when it came to quoting the language of others, and my point of view was, what does it matter? It's not me saying it. I'm relaying a lyric or a sentiment or a point of view expressed by someone else. I'm even embarrassed to say that I don't think it was until like a few years ago that I actually changed and censored the text of this 2014 Death Grips review title. And as you can see in the comments of this video, there's even a lot of discourse and jokes flying around about me not saying the title. And at the time, this sort of thing left me feeling like this is more or less a moral gray area. I extended this attitude into other pieces of content I've made, like this one, where it is also clear I am quoting someone even in the tightly edited state this clip has been presented in. And the reason I'm doing so,
yeah, I love Anthony Fantano. I think he's a great dude. And I knew that he, like, I didn't know the extent of it, but I knew that he was like an edgy guy, right? Initially. And that's, by the way, not a defense of people being racist. Okay? Before people just like slam words into my mouth and just be like, mah, 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 white guy defending another white guy being racist. Like, none of that. And he is now exactly the type of dude who would never allow that either. I don't think he would defend himself using these words and anything like that. Too late. The Clippers already got what they wanted. I don't give a fuck. Clippers can suck my cock, dude. They can suck my left nut and then the right one. Okay. Jesus Christ. I remember you saying the N word when reading MLK. How is this different? The N word? You think MLK said the N word and not like the Spanish word for black? Like, which N word are we talking about? The MLK, I have a dream that one day every American can have a nuclear weapon. That's what he said. Yeah, he's great. A white telling the black community who's allowed in the culture and who isn't. I don't care. Dude. That's on you, man. If you think that he's like a cultural gatekeeper for black culture as a white guy, I don't know what to tell you. No, he's just a music critic, man. Holy he's a music critic. He's a music critic. He's a music critic. He's a music critic. What he did was inappropriate. Okay? That's it. And I'm sure he'll explain how he also, this does not reflect who he is now.
Is to voice disagreement with calling people racial and homophobic slurs as a bit, which is what the original content creator I was quoting was doing. And he himself has since apologized for this whole era of his career, but I'm not getting deeper into.
I guess he's talking about like iDubbbz. Is that what you guys were saying? I'm piecing it together. Oh, it's so funny how quick people get whipped up into a frenzy when directed by like horribly racist right-wingers that will cynically weaponize cancel culture and everybody hates it normally. Like everybody's supposed to hate it, but I mean, this is the classic like 2016 era where it's like you said something up 12 years ago, 13 years ago, and every couple of years we're just going to keep recirculating it to get people mad at you. It's like, yeah, everyone has done something up, okay? Some way more severe than others. What you have to focus on is who this person is now, who they became, okay? That's it. Not even right wingers is academics, Lackey, and certified Jared, Drake, Dick Rider. First of all, academics is a right winger. What are we talking about? It's just an overload of Ack fans, Drake stands, and people that hate his music. He's acknowledged and talked about these things many times, which sucks. Fantano has done plenty of work promoting artists and expressing humility within his views. So this is silly in retrospect. Meanwhile, people like Tucker Carlson exist. I know. In a weird way, I think this does make like, this is a broad thing that I'm going to say. There's no defense for white people behaving in a racist way throughout their past. Okay, this is not a defense of this whatsoever. I will say, however, that we do have this attitude on the left where we just constantly forget that people have the capacity to evolve and change. And not only that, but we also let right wingers tune us up so much. Okay, we let right wingers tune us up so much. We just eat that bait every time, dude. And I don't know what the best possible way to go about it is. Like, I don't know how, because like this is not like this is not to say that like you should let people be racist. You know what I mean? And think about the way I'm even talking about this issue. Like, I have to qualify it a million times over because I know there's some cynical asshole always lurking in the corners, lurking in the shadows, waiting for me to say something that they can like cut in half so they can just post it and be like, this guy's a racist piece of shit. And then the person posting that half the time is like the most racist person you've ever seen. But then leftists with no like critical analysis skills get tuned up by a guy whose name is like Groiper Himmler, who's like spamming the N-word over and over and over again on all the other tweets, and they just recirculate that shit. I don't know. Look, no matter what happens, I'm a white guy talking about another white dude, okay, who has done things in the past. Okay, things that he has learned from, things that he's grown out of. I care about what a person represents now far more than what they've done in the past. Okay, yeah, I know I'm gonna get accused of making this a dangerous space for black people. I know, but the reason why I try to push this a little bit is because like it does play a role. It does. See, look, this is what I mean. This is what Sean was talking about. You're too charitable. You really just need to talk to him. Do you think Anthony Fantano's a racist? Do you? Like, what are you talking about? This is an indefensible position. It literally shuts off any sort of productive conversation from being had. Okay? It shuts off any sort of productive conversation from being had whatsoever around this issue. This is a major problem for the left, 100%. This is not to say like we should make excuses for racists, okay? Or, oh, well, they apologize. If you don't want to forgive someone for not checking themselves, not recognizing their privilege early on, and behaving in a way that is racist and harmful, then that's on you, okay? But if you want to think about like any sort of broader shift, broader ideological shift that we can bring people on board to, you have to be, no matter what happens, you have to be a little bit more open-minded about people's capacity to change. That's it. That's it. Listen to POC on POC issues. Is that simple? No, it's not that simple. It's not. It's literally not that simple. Anyway, we have to find a way, and I don't know how, but we have to find a way to like overcome this tendency that we all have for substituting self-defense for purity. Because the interest, I think, is reasonable. It's not always coming from a place of just like everyone else. It's not always coming from a place where it's like entirely about ideological purity and maintaining it. I think it comes from a place of self-defense. Okay? But the issue is when we're so ready to just be like everyone that has done something that's up in the past, who have acknowledged it long ago, who have apologized for it and have tried to make amends for it, they're still bad and wrong because I just found out about what they had done in the past and now I'm pissed off. Well, okay, we're just never going to be able to. We look repulsive to normal people. Okay, leftists understand that social conditioning plays a formative role in people's development, and it's directed off of the material conditions that we exist under. We live in a white supremacist society. If you live in a racist country, then yeah, most people, especially white people and even black people, will exhibit racist tendencies, anti-black tendencies. Anti-blackness is fundamental to the development of America. Okay, it's foundational to this country. And therefore, it's in every orifice of this goddamn nation to this day. Okay, what is the byproduct of that? The byproduct of that is that people are obviously going to reflect those values. People are going to be careless. People are going to say shit. You're going to experience microaggressions. This isn't to say that it's appropriate, good, and you should just suck it the up. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm simply saying is we have to approach the issue with that recognition, and as long as someone overcomes that social conditioning, be a little bit more charitable to people that we understand have made mistakes in the past and are no longer repeating said mistakes, and as a matter of fact have become active defenders against those unjustifiable hierarchies. You know, that's it. Because from the outside, I think there's a lot of people in the margins that look at stuff like this. A lot of people in the margins look at things such as this and they go, oh, well, I mean, look at this guy. He apologized profusely, and people are still eating their ass alive. Like, it comes across as it's not only unproductive, but it also comes across as like repulsive to normies in general. It's also not really reflective of how normies view things anyway. I don't get it. I try to do. To be fair, normal people do the same shit. No, they don't. No, I don't think that's the case. What is repulsive to normie black people, though? When I say normies, I'm including black people in it as well. In the real world, you are not hyper scrutinized by your worst moments in the past, by cynical actors with regular frequency. In the real world, when you are around other people, they judge you by who you are at that very moment. They judge you by your worldview and whatever you signal. What about people that have Nazi tattoos and say they're no longer racist? Do you think people should have understanding for them? Serious question. I mean, there's literal programs that dedicated to lasering that shit off of people. And yes, some of those people like Derek Black are great examples of people who have literally worked tirelessly after being born into a famous Nazi family to overcome those views. Yes, I think even the most extreme cases, even the most extreme version of this, which is what you are describing, is still it's still appropriate to focus on rehabilitation and to assume the best in people. Sometimes I feel like people that go, Hasan, what about someone that just was racist yesterday and today magically says he's not racist? Should we apologize for them? Should we defend them? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like Steven Crowder being like, what if someone turns trans on the moment of their weightlifting competition? Like, that's not a real thing. And you can make that calculation on your own. You know what I mean? You're an adult. You have the capacity to figure out whether or not someone is being cynical in that very moment to test your ideological purity or your boundaries. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. It's like an inherently reactionary way to view the world. It's very frustrating for a multitude of different reasons. One, because I myself had opinions that I've reformed on, as you guys know. It's not a secret, okay? And two, it just shuts off the idea, the fundamental idea that leftists should believe in, which is people's capacity to change for the better, okay? It's something that I have been yelled at for years and years. And thank God I never listened to people. And I will consistently continue to defend this principle till the day I die. This is not making an excuse for racism. This is not making an excuse for continuation. It's not like, oh, we need to protect racists. I'm not saying any of that stuff whatsoever. But I have always explained to you that we all have an intersectionality of privilege. Okay? Every last one of us have privileged blind sides. Blind sides born out of one privilege that we exhibit over another. Okay? Especially when you focus on the entire planet, all of a sudden you can expand on this. Like many Americans, right? Like a black person that has experienced anti-black racism is worse off than a white person that has never understood that experience whatsoever. But a black person in the United States of America that has experienced anti-black racism is still fundamentally in a better place in society and can experience a privilege, a blind spot of privilege when it comes to Western chauvinism. When we talk about like an internationalist perspective, for example. And plenty of people do that, by the way. Plenty of people do actually experience that blind spot. We all have these blind spots. And the goal should always be to work on them, to become more understanding and to allow others to grow as well in the process. Okay? Yeah, an able-bodied person has, in most circumstances, a blind spot against a disabled person, for example. You're mixing two different conversations that are going on. No, these two things are directly related to one another. The intersectionality of privilege is at the heart of this conversation. The intersectionality of privilege is at the heart of this conversation because it creates these privileged blind spots. But those privileged blind spots are left unacknowledged for most people. And then they think they don't have them. And in the process of growth, when someone actually recognizes it and becomes a better person by working against those privileged blind spots, then we should celebrate that. We should welcome that. We should demand more of that. I've never been a firm and committed believer in the idea that when someone has made an egregious mistake, no matter how severe, that they are irredeemable because it comes from a place of great evil. Okay? I don't believe that. If I believed that, I wouldn't do what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't actively try to change people's minds on a litany of different issues. You understand? Read my older chat. Forgiving for growth conversation is what you're talking about, but what the other chats are referencing is a conversation around Sean, Mike, and Gremlo. I have no idea what that conversation is. I have not paid attention to it whatsoever. Is that the reason why people are is that the reason why people are like yelling at me in the chat? Because I have no clue what you guys are even remotely talking about. I'm talking about my principles that I have. Oh, ugh. Yeah, dude, you're missing a big convo. I mean, I guess tension's just high right now. Yeah.
The weeds than that because this video isn't about him. Because the fact of the matter is I should have.
He's not missing it. Y'all brought it up with no context. Now Hasan's trying to play catch up while running defense against the freaks in the chat, calling him racist. Yeah, I don't know what people are talking about on that front. I watched a clip from Sean the other day. Was that about this broader discourse? Is that what's going on? Yeah, I don't think that is it. What is this? This week has just revealed that an overwhelming amount of people who identify leftists are devoted to practice and education, especially about marginalized communities, and they just take whatever take is spewed by big names. That is scary. Oh. There's a community-wide POC streamers trying to communicate how we often put grievances in front of POC issues and not speaking over them. There's a community-wide with POC streamers trying to communicate how we often put white grievances in front of POC issues. I mean, are people saying I'm doing that? I don't get it. Am I doing that? What is happening? What? Hella people are saying yes. Some people are saying no. Yeah. You guys know my exclusive hyperfixation has been the whitest issue of all time, which is Israel's genocide of the Palestinians, which I've dedicated pretty much every single day to covering for the past 22 months, which is, of course, the peak of white issues. So you guys are right. I love talking about issues that pertain to white grievances. Famously, that's my hyper focus. The f do you mean? It's things worth listening to. Some aren't open to hearing it. No name specifically. Okay. Well, anyway, let's get back to
Could
Fantano.
have just censored myself while pointing this behavior out. But
Please don't get defensive. It's literally not just about you. No, I don't even. Okay, I wasn't. The only identity is class identity. We're not libs. We're leftists. Open your eyes, chatters. No, I have class first politics. This is true. You've caught me. But this doesn't mean that race does not play a major role. I've often talked about how racialized violence is also, it's directed on the basis of race, but it's actually still dished out on the basis of classist violence. The example I always use is black people and black communities being consistently underfunded, being kept deprived of the same resources that white communities have been afforded. This is class warfare that is directed through the lens of race. This is also part of the reason why class politics turns into race politics, both on the opposing side and also even on the defensive side. Holy airball. What? Oh my God, you are doing it. Holy airball. What is the airball? This is something that I've said a million times over. This is not my first time having this conversation. If you guys think that this is not a conversation that was taking place when, once again, I had, 100 people in this community versus right now, you'd be wrong. Here, I'll give you an example. The famous Lee Atwater quote of using racial dynamics in racial politics, anti-blackness, and the way that anti-blackness has obviously changed throughout time is a decent way to understand this, right? The ultimate goal is to deprive people of social safety nets, but the way to try and successfully get that across is to talk about welfare queens, like a heavily racialized element, to make it seem to get white people on board with their own personal demise by saying, oh, well, black people are using these social safety nets. I think you are either missing the point or intentionally avoiding it. No, I'm not. I am missing the point, I guess. How about you listen to actual critique instead of getting defensive? I'm not being defensive. This is one of the more annoying aspects of this conversation because it literally turns into people just being like, you're being pretty defensive, bud. Instead of telling me what the critique is. What is the critique? That's kind of the issue with this convo. It hasn't stopped happening in 5 years. And since then, how many marginalized streamers have been chased off the platform? Chatty hasn't been in the convos of this week. Calm down. Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck anyone is talking about. I don't know. But I would expect people to at least have some shareability and to tell me what the issue is. I literally don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. But here, look at this. Can you remind these folks that POC people need to differentiate themselves from black issues? The conflating of experiences non-black POC is a form of anti-black erasure. This isn't the reason why we're not going to get health care, but it certainly doesn't help. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do we're never getting health care because of this. It's not, this isn't the reason, but it's certainly not helpful. Sean made a great point about how even if you have Medicare for all would disproportionately benefit white people due to the lack of service in black communities. So simply saying Medicare for all benefits black people, so they should get on board as a hint of white supremacy. Like, even if medication is free, black women wouldn't even be getting the prescription by a white doctor to begin with. Hopefully I didn't do a disservice to his point. I mean, this is this goes back to white supremacy and anti-blackness being foundational in American politics. But ultimately, that doesn't mean Medicare for all is bad. And it doesn't mean that Medicare for all is bad for the black community either. I think we should be working to abolish both of these unjustifiable constructs, whether it be paywalling healthcare, but also simultaneously trying to eradicate white supremacist attitudes everywhere that it exists. It reminds me of a conversation I had with like a liberal that was anti-union and saying that we're anti-union liberal was like racism won't be ended when unionization happens. Yeah, but well, one, in the United States of America, there's a higher union participation in the black community than there is in the white community, for the record. That's number one. There's different reasons for that. But number two, unionization or socialism is not going to eradicate racism. but it at least will improve people's material circumstances so that the environment is less hostile to solve those issues as well. That's it. That's it. You said it's like saying, yeah, you get high-speed rail too, but there's no metro in their community. Okay, but I mean, okay, now I'm talking to Sean through someone else. Like, I would rather just talk to him directly than to talk through what chatters are saying. What the f- is this? But anyway, none of this has anything to do with what I was talking about with respect to Anthony Fantano. So I don't know why chatters were trying to slam that in to that conversation.
Left me feeling kind of nonchalant because it's not the words themselves, but the sentiment of them that's being expressed that's truly disgusting. And sure, while that is true on some level, explicitly quoting him was in bad form and just unnecessary. I would have still gotten my point across and done so without upsetting anybody had I taken that approach. And I feel this way now because of an important realization I only made after tons and tons of people were watching me, that I don't make content just for me, I do it for an audience. And I can't dictate what anyone watching may or may not find harmful or offensive. No more than with a review, I can dictate what music you do or don't like. So I would rather err on the side of caution and not hurt anyone by explicitly voicing language that doesn't exist in a vacuum, even if I am quoting it. And that's actually been my approach for a very long time now. I mean, this clip may be new to you, but it's actually almost 10 years old. If this was ever something I made a regular habit of doing, believe me, you'd be seeing more examples than this. All I can do is take ownership of having quoted these words in this way, and obviously say that I'm sorry, which I am in fact sorry about this. Now, there are going to be some people watching this video who will say, no, that's not enough. I know you're a racist. I saw a clip of you laughing at Trayvon Martin's death, which I guess this is the clip.
Vegan invited me to an event that taught me about PETA's buying guide / neoliberal whiteness and Trayvon Martin. Okay.
Dude, Trayvon. I was thinking Trey Melvin. I had a big thing with Trey Melvin.
Which I will agree, that doesn't look good. But believe it or not, the way this clip has been presented is a lie, and it's been heavily edited too. First off, I gotta say the Drunken Peasants podcast where I was appearing in that clip is explicitly not a right-wing podcast. While yeah, it's true the show has featured a pretty wild range of guests over the years and the humor tends to run a bit edgy, they also regularly make fun of right-wingers, alt-right psychopaths, and the president. And in this clip that you just saw, I'm reading a super chat that is on the screen that was sent in by a viewer of the show. And the reason I'm jumping into reading it is that partially it is a dig at me, because on the show it's not exactly a secret that I'm an openly liberal vegan. And from there, here is what actually happens.
A vegan invited me to an event that taught me about PETA's buying guide / neoliberal whiteness and Trayvon Martin. Okay.
Dude, Trayvon. I was gonna.
You're such an.
I was gonna say Trey Melvin, but it's no Trayvon Martin.
Man,
totally
you're
different.
so. You know what, Jeff? You're so right wing.
As you can see there, that is not the clip that is getting passed around. In this original clip, Jeff Holiday there on the podcast doesn't even finish his sentence. He apparently gets Trayvon Martin mixed up with someone else entirely, and I even call him a moron. Because that is obviously something a moron would communicate. So, voila, that's actually what happened in that clip. With all that being said, I realized a long time ago that I really do need to be careful about who I talk to.
The Rocky Marks is, who is Trayvon Martin? That's crazy. I mean, this person quite literally could be from Iraq. So that's, everybody calm down, okay? Before you yell at the dude, remember, they're probably from Iraq, okay? And probably too young as well. What is this? Yeah, true, but as white people, will they be listened to? It's not better to mainly focus on what you would be better and work together across boundaries? What? Hasan, I hope you do talk to Sean about this, even if it's off stream. He realized the really important points about how leftists can reach marginalized audiences better and build a truly diverse coalition. I think the community really needs to hear it. I'm not sure I get your meaning, but I'll say There's no hope for leftist movement that is segregated, and that's how it's been forming, and I've noticed it for years. These divides need to be bridged, and Hasan is good at building bridges. I mean, I try, but I'll be honest with you. These kinds of conversations are ultimately, and people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. These kinds of conversations are hyper niche. Okay. The average person's political understanding is so far removed from this that when they see it from the outside, and it doesn't matter what their background is, black, brown, white, when they see these conversations taking place in a community like this, they go, oh, what the are they talking about? Not a good take. No, I know you're going to say not a good take, Demi Charm. But it is. We look crazy. We look crazy to the average person. You know what the best possible way to do quote unquote political message to the average person is? Don't be a douchebag. Okay? That's it. That's it. Don't be a douchebag. Why do you care so much about trans people? Why do you think that like Mexicans and Guatemalans are actually stealing your job? What are you, stupid? They're literally poorer than you are. Those three things that I just said are profoundly impactful in comparison to like whatever kind of academic perspective that you want to bring from standpoint theory into a political conversation. Okay? Like that's just the reality of the matter. And I'm always willing to do housekeeping when things get out of control. And it seems like this is an issue that has been boiling over. Okay? But like, this is what this reminds me of. Okay?
If we want to defeat capitalism, we are going to need a party that will organize working people to fight for the demands that we want and to win socialism. Thank you so much.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Unc, this is not it. No. To the app, Unc, you're getting defensive, over defensive to a point he's not making. Over defensive to a point he's not making. You're doing what Sean is exactly talking about. No, man, I'm saying, regardless of the veracity of certain claims being made, okay, and certain demands being made to the outsiders that are completely uninitiated to our worldview, regardless of their background, that's how we come across. Like, can you imagine doing discourse like this with, like, I don't know, Black Boy Max and his community? Like, if we're talking from the realm of content creators in general, or like Jason the Ween and his audience, or the AMP boys, like that would be, I think we're talking past one another, okay? And that's the problem. But yes, I will talk to Sean about this. That's not what's happening here. This is a conversation about Twitch. You're not standing on a stage in DC having this convo. It's a Friday night Twitch stream law. This is the niche space where these conversations happen. No, you're wrong. You want to know why you're wrong? There's a reason why. It's not, I keep burping, sorry. It's not an accident that there's a conversation being taken place right now with 28,000 people as opposed to 2,000 people. You think we didn't have similar conversations such as this one when there were 2,000 people in here? I'm not even saying it's a bad point, okay? There are people who, this is not a comparison to anti-black racism that black people experience, but there are people who walk all over me on a daily basis, call me a terrorist, Islamist fundamentalist, demand that I get deported, try to literally alert the authorities to get me deported. I still talk to them. Okay, I still talk to them. I still try to get them to understand. And many of them do change their minds in the process because that's just what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to eat it. Okay, everybody has some kind of valid concern, valid point of frustration. But there are some instances where you just gotta eat it. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to, allow people to walk all over you and just like open up the floodgates of discourse to just like active, overt white supremacists, But I've always explained to people that like my goal here is to reach out to as broad an audience as possible to get them acquainted, to get them in the process to get them started on the process of learning. Okay. I mean, it's not the same, but it's similar when you do IRL streams with guests and you bring up BDS when buying drinks or guests just blue screens. Exactly. No, I understand. I understand that. There are certain things that I'm like willing to entertain, certain awkward moments that I'm willing to entertain, and certain moments that I'm not. Everyone's allowance is different. Okay, depending on their own personal experiences, everyone's threshold is different. Okay. And the more you experience marginalization, the more you experience virulent racism, for example, the less tolerance you have for seeing people, especially in a community that's supposed to be otherwise like progressive. All right. But if you want to understand what my dynamic or what my boundaries are or what my belief system is, I'm telling you, there are plenty of people who make valid criticisms. Sometimes those valid criticisms are addressed and I change something, but there are plenty of instances where I don't, because I know those criticisms are valid and I'm still refusing to change it because I have a different, more dynamic vision of getting more people on board. The example I use is oftentimes from the perspective of like transphobia and trans issues. People get real mad, right? When I'm talking about trans issues, like there are trans chatters that'll sometimes be like, this is up the way you're talking about this. I don't like the way you're talking about this or whatever. And I try to explain to them, like, this is ultimately a space that you can go to, okay, to enjoy, to learn things that you didn't know. But when it comes to trans issues, like, I'm not speaking to you. You're trans, right? You already know what the f is up. I'm speaking to people who are transphobic. When I talk about black issues, I'm not an expert. I'm not a black person. I'm speaking to anti-blackness and the anti-blackness that people have. I'm speaking to white people, okay? Sometimes even black people as well, because anti-blackness is so pervasive. Please stop talking about black issues, Jesus Christ. See, this is what I mean. I'm not going to do that, okay? Shut the f up. This is so stupid. Shut the f up. Shut the f up. What do you mean, brother? What do you mean? What the f do you mean? How is this any different than when people come in here and they're like, why do you speak out for the poor? You're rich. The f That's literally every single thing I've ever done. I'm a white man. I am a rich white man. What, are you stupid? I shouldn't be talking about any of the things that I'm talking about then. No more LGBTQ related issues, no more black issues, no more undocumented migrants. Like, I shouldn't be talking about any of that. What is this? What is this? It's so stupid. They just don't like you. No, that person is a 48-month subscriber. It's not that they don't like me, that they're just tuned up and angry. Yeah, I can only speak on issues that pertain to a 34-year-old dual national American Turkish citizen. Like, what? What does this mean? But yeah, if Sean is in the chat, like, I'm down to talk to him about it. And I think people need to stop. Like, you can have disagreements with me, you can have disagreements with Sean, you can have disagreements with everybody. But if you wait for me to give Sean the go-ahead and to agree with him for you to like change your perspective, then that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Like, don't do that. Listen to people about their own personal perspective. You can agree with them, you can disagree with them, but don't just, don't just like immediately attack people and be like, you're being a liberal or whatever. Okay. It's interesting because it's like, even if there is something that I disagree with Sean or with any number of different friends or other content creators, it doesn't matter. I'm not even saying I do have disagreements. I'm saying it still wouldn't matter. we're fundamentally on the same side. And I feel like it's so crazy that people just people are just like writing each other off. I don't think Sean wants Hasan not to talk about black issues. He just wants chatters that only watch Hasan to go watch some black leftist perspectives as well. Don't be like those strength. Yeah, I mean, that I agree with that, by the way. Yeah. How are you so blind on this? See, this is what I mean. Bro, oh my Lord. You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing that's the most annoying thing that everybody hates. You're just like vaguely gesturing to some kind of thing that you think I've done without telling me what it is. Stop doing this. This is annoying. And it doesn't matter what your background is, okay? What the what am I supposed to do with this information? Oh, you're so bad. You're so bad at this. I can explain what I mean. You want to come on? You can come on. There's a fundamental issue here. That is that we don't do gaming anymore. That causes the space to boil over. I know. I'm going to be gaming in a little bit. It's been an hour. I still don't know what the going on. I don't either. Anyway.
What platform I appear on publicly, because in the eyes of the wrong person, any association or appearance can be read as a deep tie or an endorsement of an idea that I don't agree with. Like, for example, if I did a stream with this guy tomorrow...
Dude, will you let him you?
No.
Why not? Suppose he's like, yo, bro, listen, yo, you always wanted me to be next to you. Now I could be in pause.
Yo, I'm not gay.
Nah, you suck it down. Yeah.
People might understandably think that I endorse the idea of having sexual conversations with underage boys, and I don't. So while I know that nobody owes me their forgiveness and I can't control what everyone thinks about me, I'm going to continue to do my best to make sure that I'm not sending across the wrong idea, especially considering a lot of the music I review and endorse on a regular basis deals in some pretty heavy and serious topics. Topics that I would be completely in opposition to were I a bigoted weirdo. But as much as this is a principle of mine, I would also like to be spared the headache of just some freak trying to frame me disingenuously and make it seem like I'm okay with a child being killed by a racist vigilante, which is where the most truly aggravating thing about this whole situation comes up, because we currently live in a time where between ICE, between our current president who got in the position where he is after saying that Haitian...
Please check out his VOD after stream for context. It doesn't have anything against you. Wait, Sean the Black? I don't think he has anything against me. What? What is happening? This is not politics. This is just being parasocial. You guys are being parasocial. This is like when chatters would go into Will's stream and just be like, if you don't treat Hasan better, you're going to lose him or some shit like that. Like, what are you talking about? I've known that man for almost 2 decades, okay? You don't know us as well as we know each other. Please, I know your intentions are pure here, okay? But don't do this kind of stuff either, okay? It's all good. Okay, lol, I'm sorry. Oh, it's all right. You're fine, chatter. I wasn't, you know. Oh, yeah, my banners are broken. Hold on. How are they still broken? Just replace them. Sean, I DM'd you on Discord.
Immigrants are going to eat your pets. White supremacy is like really at a peak right now, and because of that, it's vitally important that when things are being called out as legitimately racist, that those accusations actually mean something. But I guess instead what some people would rather do is water down the impact of that, deceptively edit clips to make it look like I like it when children are killed. All right, I don't think I have anything else to say here. If there's something I've missed, I will try to circle back. That is, if we are talking about a case of something I've actually said.
You should have hand waved this when the video was being spread by a Drake dick rider. Yeah, it was DJ Academics that blasted it. I hadn't seen it. I wanted to just hear what he had to say. I don't think Anthony Fantano is racist. I think he was, much like many people in their starting points in America, probably exhibited a lot of you know, not so great tendencies in the past, but he has actively worked against that. He's dope. He's great. I can't even speak on his like music taste because I don't listen to music. So that I don't really care about that at all. Maybe that's why I like Melon Man so much, because I don't have I don't have like a favorite album that he's given a light 6 to that has made me want to firebomb his house or something, which I feel like a lot of the animosity comes from. You know what I mean? He doesn't like Yeet. Oh, okay, never mind. I hate him now. That's up. Yeah, a solid 80% of the people trying to cancel Fantano don't actually care that much about racism or homophobia and are doing so solely because they don't like his reviews. Yeah, 100%.